I've lived on this hillside for more than 25 years. When my wife Andy bought our place, the road was barely paved and the neighborhood was more rural than suburban. Over time, no homes filled in the gaps. Andy with them came in had that promise to protect property values. Most of us hoped that meant keeping the place tidy. Instead, we got a board that loved rules more than common sense. The most enthusiastic enforcer was a neighbor named Cheryl, though most folks quietly called her Karen. She lived 3 houses down, in one of the newer builds perched right on the slope. Her yard dropped sharply toward mine, and she always seemed nervous about it, though she'd never admit it. Every time we planted something, she peeked over the fence like she was checking my homework. About 10 years ago, we had a winter heavy enough to make the hill groan. Water carved little channels down the slope, and a few yards developed soft spots. I'd grown up around construction and knew the signs. He spent a week studying the grade behind my house and realized he needed a retaining wall to keep the hillside stable. He hired a local contractor who had worked on most of the older homes in the area. He helped design a simple wall strong, not flashy, and we set it far enough into my property to avoid any disputes. The project was almost finished when he heard shouting from behind the house. He walked up the slope and he found Cheryl standing with her arms crossed, glaring at the crew. She wanted to know why she wasn't notified about construction. Then she launched into a speech about community standards and the unauthorized alterations. The contractor stayed polite, but he wasn't having it. He showed her the permits and he explained the wall was well inside my property line. That didn't stop her. The next afternoon, an email from the HOA landed in my inbox. It said my retaining wall may be in violation of aesthetic regulations and he demanded construction stop immediately. They wanted me to remove it and restore the natural slope. He invited the board to come look at the land. Only Cheryl showed up. She stood there with a clipboard, poking the dirt with the tip of her shoe like she was inspecting a crime scene. She told me my wall was visually disruptive and unnecessary, and she planned to recommend fines. He tried to keep calm. He explained the wall wasn't for decoration. It was meant to support the hillside, including the slope under her yard. She brushed it off and sighed, "This hillside has been fine for decades." He could have fought her right then, but the wall was already finished, and he had the permits to back me. My contractor sighed, "Let them file whatever they want. Nature will prove you right long before the board does." He hoped he was wrong about that last part, but he wasn't. Fast forward to early spring 2 years later. We had days of steady rain, nothing dramatic at first, just enough to soak the ground until it held water like a sponge. The night before the slide, he walked outside and he noticed something troubling along the top of the slope. The soil behind Cheryl's home had dark streaks running through it, and the runoff ditch that the HOA installed was overflowing. The water was cutting a groove straight toward her patio. Emailed the HOA again with photos. No more one responded. Early the next morning, he heard a cracking sound long, low, and deep. My first thought was that a tree was falling, but then the earth let out a noise I'll never forget. It sounded like a slow sigh turning into a roar. He stepped outside and he saw the slope under Cheryl's yard drop about 8 inches in one motion. Her patio cracked down the center. Soil surged toward my property line like a slow wave. But the moment that mud hit my retaining wall, it stopped. The wall held firm. The mud stuck behind it like wet cement. If it hadn't been there, the entire slide would have continued down onto my house and the road below. Cheryl's yard would have gone with it. When the crews arrived, they told her the same thing. The only thing keeping her home from sliding further was that unaesthetic, unnecessary wall. She stood pale and speechless as they explained it. The HOA called an emergency meeting the next week. This time, every board member showed up, along with a few neighbors who had seen the damage. Cheryl didn't say a word. The board quietly admitted the wall met all requirements and it had been permitted properly. Then they asked if I'd consider working with the HOA on future slope safety plans. He kept my answer polite, but he didn't offer more than that. As for Cheryl, she avoided me for a few months. Eventually she came by one afternoon. She stood there shifting her weight from one foot to the other. Finally she sighed, "Thank you for building that wall." He told her she was welcome, and that was the end of it. These days the slope is stable again, though we still check the wall after every heavy storm. Every time I think about how close we came to losing part of the neighborhood. Funny how something that was called a violation ended up saving a home. If you enjoyed the story, please like the video and subscribe for more.